It's green. Green's good. Green means we're live. And they can almost see you. Right there. You can't be shy. No one's in the room yet, so
good.
You got time to be shy for just a minute. So there's like a 10-second delay from here to here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll pop the chat out so we can see. Hi, Donna. What's up, Bethany, Roxy, Christina? I'm going to leave it up here for just a second. So today I'm going to art with Amanda's mom,
Marnie.
Marnie?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I almost said Marty, but I'm glad I didn't. But Marnie has never arted before. She has made a wreath, and she's a baker, so she's a scientist. She basically works for NASA. So, but she hasn't done resin before, so I'm going to do a demo, and then she's going to make her very own. Stay tuned. Are you calling somebody?
No. It's my phone.
Oh. Hope that's not Amanda stuck in traffic.
No, she doesn't FaceTime that way.
No.
She's probably my husband.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Does he know that you're going to be on?
No, I should have told him. I didn't know.
You can tell him. I'm just going to mix colors real quick if you want to text him or grab your phone. I need to eat blood anyways. Oh, I forgot to give the logo.
Okay. Hopefully that wasn't my phone honking.
I just never heard that sound before.
It's a video chat on Facebook.
Oh. Yeah, I don't ever answer those.
Yeah, well, I don't have an iPhone, so that's what we do.
You still Skype?
No, that's true.
So, I have pre-mixed my resin. This is Art Resin by Stone Coat Countertops. Sorry, Art Coat by Stone Coat Countertops. And it is a 1-to-1 resin. It looks like this, which means you do equal parts resin and equal parts hardener. You don't have to wear these quite yet because I'm just going to demo it for you, but
okay.
Just so I'm sure I handed those to you. I'm out of my small cups still, so I'm using these basically red Solo cup sizes that are bigger than my, look at this, they're bigger than my resin mixing cups. Insanity. You know what, I'm just gonna cut these down so I don't waste anything. I could have done this before the video started, but I didn't think about it. I usually have really cute little white cups to do this. Marnie, you're just too popular for your own good.
Hey, Stephen, let me call you back. I'm working with resin. Working with the resin. I'll call you back.
I'm on YouTube TV. I can't answer you right now.
Yeah.
I'm just cutting these cups down because if I leave them this big size, then by pouring it out, it's going to get caught on the walls, and I'm not going to have as much use as I could because it's just going to stick. Looks like I need one more. Anyways, you ordered geode acrylic blanks. They'll be here any day. I'm so glad, Donna. You are going to love them, I hope. I want to hear all about what you think because we try to improve everything that we do have on the website. If I have the ability to improve it, I want to. So I'm down to hear your thoughts. Okay, so now we're going to mix some colors. And the amount of resin you put in each one of these cups depends on how much of each color you want represented. But since we're going to both be using a few of these colors, I'm going to make more of some colors than I am of others. And we can always make more resin. So First color I'm going to mix is Fire Engine Red by Color Obsession. Sorry, I didn't know that was as zoomed in. It's not going to focus because my life. Marnie is an awesome name. Did she spell that right? Marnie?
That is correct.
Ding ding.
Thank you.
That was baby cake set. So that. So this is epoxy paste. This is paint that's made specifically for resin. And the difference is a lot of people use acrylics, and that's fine. Perfectly fine. You can use acrylics. But resin doesn't really like things that are water-based. So it can cause problems, like it'll give you like a marshmallow fluff consistency. And so it's really hard to manipulate and make it do what you want it to do when it does that. Also, it's a lot more forgiving. Also, it mixes in a lot easier than acrylics. Marnie, we love your daughter.
Thank you. She's great.
She is.
My second of 3 daughters.
I feel like Amanda told me that at one point.
And then I have a son.
And then also a son. So this color is Midnight Blue from Just Resin. It is one of my go-to colors right now. It's amazing. They all know that my shop wouldn't run as smoothly if Amanda wasn't here to like keep me on track.
She's highly organized.
She is
Always has been.
very much so. So the next color I'm going to mix up is Bright Gold, but since we don't use that much of it, I'm going to pour a little bit of that out. This is the Bright Gold from Just Resin. I feel like it's powder. It is.
So you prefer the paste more than the powder? Is that what you're saying?
I prefer to use paints made for resin than paints made for other uses like acrylics or watercolors.
Okay.
You can use any mica based thing in resin. Like I've used eyeshadow before just to see if it would work, and it did. But you just have to use a lot more of it just because the grade of micas is very different depending on what the use is.
Could you use like food coloring paste?
You could. I've done food coloring. I've done nail polish. I've done wine. That was a horrible, horrible idea. Should have just drank it. Live and learn. Hi, Brandy. I'm glad you're here. I know. We always end up on like, oh, we're not at the end at all. Ugh. We're just getting started, actually. So this is the Stone Coat Black Base Tint, or that black. I'm going ahead and mixing all the colors for both Marnie and myself because we're using a lot of the same colors. I asked her what colors she wanted to use, and she picked red, blue, and gold, and we're going to pair that with black. But for my demo, I'm going to do it with white on this board, this blue one. Hey guys! I've used minerals and iron ore. How did you find those? Like, did they work well? This stuff you don't need a lot of, because if you use too much of it, it'll kind of cloudy everything, but it gives awesome effects. But in order to have an opaque white, but that also does the effects of this stuff, see how it's like blooming a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it'll make your colors do if you use too much of it. But it'll be translucent if you don't use a lot of it. So to balance that, I just put some white opaque paste in there as well, so I get the best of both. A lot of these colors you can mix together from any brand. In fact, I don't think I have any that you cannot mix together. So you can like make your own custom colors if you wanted to. In fact, I might grab an orange. This might be more red than orange. But it will be great. Oh, that's awesome, Margaret. Thank you. Hey, JJ. So I really like what teal and orange look like together. Although, as you guys know, if you mix colors together that are opposite on the color wheel, I don't know why I don't have needle nose pliers over here. You can get a really gross brown color if they mix. So I'm probably going to stab myself in the face.
That's kind of what I was talking about.
You got a needle nose? Nope. Have some over here. There we go. I actually haven't used this color before.
That's fun.
There aren't very many colors that I can really say that I've never used before.
Mm-hmm.
So what was I saying? Those are Wonder Woman colors. I like where you guys are headed. Oh yeah, I remember where I was saying. So if you mix colors that are opposite of the color wheel on the same piece and they if you get your resin too thin and they end up mixing together, they make an awful color. So to avoid that, I have my base as the teal, and then I'm going to add the red and the white and probably some gold on top of it. That way there's no risk of the colors interacting and turning horrible, crappy brown, in theory. Awesome, Margaret. Have a great day. Also, I'm using my stir sticks. Pew, 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 pew. A lot of people use popsicle sticks, but they're basically one use, maybe two. But with these, you just wipe them off and keep going.
Oh, that's nice. Money saver.
That is what it's all about. And it's probably better for the environment that way.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great color.
It's almost so kinky.
It is. My only concern is, just got through talking about the colors not mixing together, and these Color Obsession tints are transparent. So I don't know how it's going to look over this teal color. It's not like they're mixing, but I have the color mixed up just in case I decide to use it. Right. So the first thing I always do is put just some clear down as a base to make sure that my tinted resins move more easily across the surface. Because, so for example, if I go to tilt it, this isn't going to fall uniform it's gonna drip.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want that. If I have like a design that I like,
Right.
I want it to fall together. So to avoid that, I grease the pan.
Mm-hmm.
I had my mom down here and painted with her, and she was like, "So you're basically just greasing the pan." I was like, "I'm gonna use that."
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Mom.
Where does she live?
In Alabama.
Okay.
She is right now the second on a cruise ship. She's retired and can do that.
Nice.
Right. Now all of that is down. Hey y'all, thanks for posting for beginners. You're awesome. Oh, it's my pleasure, Doris. I'm gonna have to kickstart this. Don't be nervous. Do it all the time. So I had the heat turned all the way up on this because I'm just trying to pop these little bubbles that we mixed in when we put the part A and B together and mixed it for 3 minutes. You mix in some bubbles, and they're really fine bubbles. You can barely see them popping unless you look at them at an angle. But they are there, and if you leave the bubbles, they'll pop once the resin's expressed them for the most part, but they'll give your finish a bad complexion because it'll leave just minute craters. And so instead of like that glass finish, you'll have that little texture, a pinhole texture. So to avoid that, you just put a little bit of heat on it, it thins the resin, and it expresses the bubbles. Also, Cujo hair is not good for complexion either. But we're all ready to go. What's up, Doris? So I think on this one, I'm going to do a combination of techniques so that you can see different things to do.
Okay.
Some people will pour a whole bunch of colors in a puddle and then either use the heat gun to blow it around, or a lot of times I'll use a swipe technique, which I'll show you all this stuff, where you just take a piece of paper and you just move it that way. Some people like to do like a super tilt where they just tilt it all off to one side, let it catch on the edge, and then tilt it back to stretch the design. Some people do a dirty cup, which is where you pour all the colors into one cup and pour it out, and it looks like ribbon candy almost.
Right.
I'll try to put all of those things into this one. Hi, Jen. You didn't miss anything. We just started. I'll try to put all those things into this one at some level so you can see what all it does. My favorite thing to do is just to put the colors down side by side and then swipe them through each other. So I'm going to start there. And hopefully I don't like it so that I'll still do all the techniques to show you. But if I do like it, I'll put it away and then I'll bring some coasters out to show you a whole bunch of the different things.
Okay.
So I always, that's why I say I always never have an idea of what I'm doing, but that wouldn't make sense. I never really have that much in mind of what I want it to do until I get my colors down, because if you go into this with like a divine plan of what you want it to look like, it's going to disappoint you 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. But if you just go with how it's looking and then adjust from there, then most likely you'll almost always like what it turns out like.
Okay.
This looks like a Pepsi logo.
Kind of does.
Pepsi, if you're hiring, sup.
She's your girl.
Right? I'm so excited about that, Karen. So this is the white that has some of the base tint in it, and what that does is it gives these larger cells,
okay,
the little circles, and that's something that's really desired in resin artwork. So I always try to have some of that in all of my artwork. But for this to work, you want to have all of the room. And so there's different whites do different things, different paints do different things. This particular paint needs to be under the other colors for it to give you the look that we just discussed. If the white's on top, then it's just going to make your colors cloudy. It's just going to dull out everything. But if it's under the other colors, then it's going to, it's like water on top of oil. They're not going to mix. They're just going to disperse and leave you with these cells or lacing or webbing. Many, many different ways to call that stuff. But so this is a swipe. You want to lay it down for just like a pencil width of color to pick up. And then really take your time moving it, because what you're trying to do is pick up color and redistribute it as you go.
Oh, that's cool.
But if you move too fast, it'll just skip across the top of it because it won't have time to catch.
Right.
And if you do it like this, you're just going to scrape everything off. So it's important to lay it flat, let it pick up about a finger or a pencil width, and then take your time. When I do classes, I'm always like, okay, hear me say this and know that I'm going to probably tell you this at some point during the class. Slow down. This resin lets you work with it for 2 hours-ish. And so you really don't need to rush. So now this is that cell structure I was talking about.
Yes.
Goodness, this is really blown out, you guys. I'm sorry. I will fix that. One of the hardest things when doing these videos is making sure the color is what it actually is, and it almost never is.
Yeah, that blue looks more blue on that.
Mm-hmm. The green just doesn't, it just doesn't. So it's also important, see how this edge is kind of bent down and this one's bent upward? I have to fix one because if I leave one down, it's just going to scrape like a push pin tip like line of color. And that's fine if you want to do that, but I don't. So I always make sure that the edges are flipped up. Also important to note that whatever the top color is, whatever you lay your paper down in, is what color these cells are going to be. So these are all red because I started my swipe in the red. So if I start it in the blue, then the swipe color, the cell color will be blue. For example. Also, it's always easier to manipulate pulling towards you instead of pulling back. So if I do half and half, then these cells are going to be blue and these will be red.
Love that.
Even though what's making the cells happen is the white, the cells will never be white.
But you said you couldn't have just the white anyway. You had to have.
It's the
another
color on top of it.
Right.
Whatever's on top of it is what color your cells are going to be.
Right.
It'd be awesome if this would focus, but alas, it's too shiny. Looks like a perfect Americana piece. So the colors are Fire Engine Red, Midnight Blue, Hybrid White with titanium and this white. And then I'm going to add gold from just Resin's Bright Gold. All right, so last thing I'm going to tell you about swiping is that you always want to kind of angle it when you're about to be done with it so it comes to this feathered off point, because if you just lift up, you're going to have a weird blunt stop to it. and it's going to be actually more distracting than anything. Unless you're doing like a feather, in which
That's cool.
that would work.
Mm-hmm.
The cells are going to grow for a while because what's making them happen is everything dispersing and the resin relaxing. Since resin is self-leveling, then it's going to keep manipulating itself and moving until it's fully level, which takes a couple hours. I need to get one more cup to show you a dirty pour. Found one. Got alcohol ink on it, but it'll be fine. So, I got the Wonder Woman song stuck in my head, right? Sell that baby to Pepsi for a new flavor. Megan, that is not a bad idea. Also, thank you again, Megan, for hosting us when we were in Florida. We had an amazing time. So, I'm gonna put some blue in here, some white. I'm not making a very big one of these because I'm just gonna let this be like an accent through the piece. But a lot of people do their entire pieces exclusively with this technique. And that's awesome because I cannot. So you have all the colors in here.
Oh, that's neat.
And then once we start to like pour it out, it'll have that kind of swirl look.
Mm-hmm.
I always put my
It's like a marble cake.
right. I actually did a mirror glazed cake not too long ago on the channel. Did not turn out like I would have liked, but c'est la vie. Not a scientist.
Yeah.
I think it was edible, but I don't know for sure. I didn't try it.
It
though.
was edible. You just don't know if it was good.
Well, yeah. I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have killed anybody. So that's what
That's neat.
it looks like. It's just soft striations of color.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm going to show you a super tilt. See, you can see that wave of resin?
Yes.
That like bulge. I don't know if you guys can see that. Barely can see it just here. And that is because this resin is cold. But if I heat in front of it, then it'll move faster because the heat is going to thin out the resin.
Oh, look at it go. Oh, that's so cool.
You just have to keep in mind when you do that not to scorch your resin, because if you do, it'll turn this weird like smoker's teeth yellow color. Not saying all smokers have.
Too.
Yeah, I'm definitely not saying that all smokers have bad teeth, because absolutely not the case. But for those that do not take care of their teeth, that's the color, that nicotine stain color. My mom is a smoker and she has immaculate teeth.
It's really cool.
This piece is turning out to be very different from any piece I've ever done before.
That's good.
Right?
It's an original.
Well, the thing about resin artwork is it's always an original. I've done videos on like trying to recreate my own artwork. I've gotten close, but it's impossible, absolutely impossible to do an exact replica of anything in resin.
And do you always do this paper thing or no?
I don't always do it, but it's been something that people wanted to learn in the classes a lot lately, so usually whatever I get requested to do the most is what I kind of focus around on the channel. But it's just something easy to do. It looks unique. And why not do what people want to see?
Absolutely.
It looks like fire-ish. So this one spot of blue is kind of bothering me a little bit. So I need to even that out. So what I'm going to do is add some blue to this piece of paper and find another place to incorporate it so that it's not quite as distracting and sore thummy. Even though I don't know that that helped. A lot of times once I get to this point in the artwork, it goes from trying to create something that I can work off of to knowing when to stop. And when to stop is the hardest thing in resin. It's really hard to know, okay, it can live from this point. Maybe I just need to tilt it and manipulate it. Only the areas where I touch it with the heat is going to move because this resin has a really thick viscosity. So I'm just going to kind of create this wave that makes it look like I'm meant to.
Love that.
So now, since I heated it and tilted it and it's all moving together, it's going to all end up with that same kind of rhythm. So it won't look quite as out of place. Thank you, Jen. She will be making a piece of her own after this. I'm
Scared.
I'm just demoing it so that she has an idea of like what all you can do. But she'll be not on her own in a minute, but she'll be doing her own piece in a minute. And I almost always add some gold to my artwork.
I love that gold. I think that looks really, really cool.
I'm a huge fan of gold. But it almost looks out of place now, so I'm trying to do the same thing I did a second ago and just give it kind of the same rhythm as I did before. So there you go. There's a piece with every technique ever in it. We'll just call this one kitchen sink. And then I put it in dust free zone, let it bake till tomorrow, and it's ready to go. So meow, it's your turn. Hey Cindy. I can't believe it's already been a week since we all played. I had such a great time. My husband, Carl, loves you both. Hugs from Cindy, the Tampa girl. Well, we had an amazing time for sure. You scared?
Yes.
Don't be scared. I'll put more gloves on. I'm here to help.
Okay, so do you always use this or do you pour?
So I always add some clear first so that my colors will flow more easily. And I gave you like all of the information. So
At one time.
yeah.
I'm a step-by-step kind of girl.
But I'm not gonna pop quiz you
Praise
at the
God.
end of this. So
Okay, and how much of this do I put on there?
So you could start with like half of that and see how well it goes. And then add more if you need to. This isn't science.
And this is, you just rub it on.
Yeah, you're greasing the pan, but with your hands. I know that since you're a baker that it's like, I need instructions and then it's got to be exactly this.
I need a recipe.
There's no recipe to it though. It's kind of
That's
just
the problem.
do what you do. You probably,
I probably
just,
need some more,
yeah,
right?
I would just pour all the rest of it on there. Jen said, y'all had me at black. It's true. It's really just what you feel like doing. There's no wrong. Your souffle is going to rise either way.
Cool. There's no guarantee in cooking.
No. There's a lot of times not a guarantee in resin, but this is your first one, so not loving your first one is really rare. Everyone always loves their first art child. And it doesn't have to be even because it self-levels, so it's going to fill its way into all that stuff. And if you ever think your hands are too sticky, I have alcohol wipes.
Okay.
So,
Do I need to do it around the outside or no?
we'll take care of those in post production.
All right.
So now you get to decide what colors you want to put where and in what style. You can do the ribbon candy one. You can do the swipe one. I didn't even get a chance to show you just using the heat gun, but you can also just use a heat gun instead of the torch.
Well, can I like make an initial and then go out from there?
When you say initial, you mean letters?
Like a letter G? Mm-hmm.
So if you're gonna do that, I would recommend doing that last because the longer you manipulate things,
It changes more.
you're gonna change it because it's
Got it.
all liquid.
Okay. All right.
So you can absolutely add a G to it. I would just do all the other things and then put it maybe in gold or something.
Okay. Okay. All right. So what do you start with? Obviously red because it's my favorite.
Obviously.
So do I need to stir this up again? And do I add it with this or do I pour it?
Either way. It depends on if you want a lot or little. So if you want a little, I would suggest using just the stick to drizzle it on. But if you want a lot of the red represented, then I just say go for it.
Okay. And I start on the outside and go all the way over.
Yeah, the reason why I start on the outside is because that initial blob that comes out, and I want an even amount of color. But
Okay.
that's my way of doing things. There's
And then
not.
what if I get too much?
We just scrape it off. Oh, you're fine.
Well, you start here.
Jen approves the letter G.
Thank you. Do you have a last name, G?
Does she have a last name G? Well, her first name is Jen
With a G?
with a G.
Okay, well, there you go. Oh, now I'm like, am I going to like this?
Of course you're gonna like it.
Okay.
Also, for my classes, I always do like a rescue round where I'll go around and be like, what is it? If you love it, awesome. If there's something you don't like about it, tell me and I'll fix it.
Okay.
There's literally nothing on the line here. You know how people get more nervous if there's something at risk, something on the line?
Sure.
There's none of that.
Okay. And I can go any direction.
Jen wants to know if the letter G is for Georgia.
No.
It's
I
for,
live in Kansas.
yeah,
It's for my last name.
Garcia.
No, it's actually Goff.
What?
Yeah, that's Amanda's married name.
Oh, yeah. Why did I think she went back to her like OG name after getting divorced? I feel like I would do that.
But she has 3 children and they're all Garcias.
That makes more sense. See, I only have puppies and they don't really, no one asks their last name, so I never have to think about those.
What those names could
Things.
possibly be. Now, should I be doing the paper thing with this before I put any other color on?
So, the thing about the gold is
Oh, I have to do the white.
it's going to take over. I also made you some black if you don't want the white, but that's totally up to you. So the black's going to be the same reactivity as the white in terms of those cells.
Okay.
So you don't have to use white. I know we were concerned about red, white, and blue on a canvas.
Yes, we were.
So I made you black instead.
Okay.
So that'll really just sink into the background, but you'll have that reaction still without risking a melted American flag.
Right. Hmm. Well, what if you just want it in the middle and you don't want it on the sides?
Just pour it in the middle.
But it won't clump?
Clump?
Mm-hmm.
No. And if you go over some colors that you want it to be like red again, like if you wanted that break not to be there of this blue,
Mm-hmm.
just put some more blue on it.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a bunch of resin, time, and color. Morning, Justine, Red Jar Creative. I love it. Also, keep in mind that just because it looks like this, once you start manipulating it and
Mhm.
moving it,
It's going to be all different.
it's all different.
Okay, so I probably need to put some more black down here too, so it has that effect.
So the thing about adding the black or the white is you want to add it on whichever side that you want to manipulate the color. So for example, you put it on this side, so we're going to have to move the colors this way. But if you wanted the red to go this way, you would have to put some on the outside for it to have that reaction, because the red has to be on top, just
Okay.
like with the white. So it's perfectly fine where it is. In fact, if we were to like just take a piece of paper and go all the way through it, your cells are going to have different ring colors because you have it in between each of these colors.
Okay.
So there's going to be a red cell, black, blue cell, black, and probably another red cell
Okay.
because it's
So I
Oreo.
should do that before I do the gold.
I would, only because the gold is going to take over. I wish I had a piece
Mhm.
handy. Like on this one that we just did,
Mm-hmm.
I put skinny strings of it,
Yeah.
but it's blooming out into
Yes, it
other
is.
areas.
Okay.
And if I would have like swiped with it, it would be even more so.
Sure.
And that's fine. People love to see that gold represented, and it is a dark color palette, so nothing's really bad or wrong. So we're going to use a new piece every time so that we don't contaminate each time you do it. Because once you put it in the color and pick it up and put it somewhere else, it's going to have those colors on it.
Mm-hmm.
So which way are we going with it?
This way?
Okay. So we're going to turn it so that you don't have to reach too far. Because then you risk
Oh, and you're saying I should pull it towards me.
always towards you, because if you pull it this way and try to pull your swipe paper back to you, you're probably going to drip onto your piece. Also, if you just try to stretch all the way out, you may end up with resiny boobs. That's happened to me before,
That would not be good.
right?
So really I should do it to the side.
Yeah, I would just, whichever way you're going to do it, just have this situated where you're pulling it towards you. Like you can swirl it, you can do like a C shape. The world's your oyster.
Hmm. But you set it down in the red.
Mm-hmm.
Did I push too hard?
No, but you did go too fast. See how it skips from here
Yes.
to here?
Yeah.
It's going to go over it if you don't give it time to stay connected. However, this looks like it's going to make a really fun purple color. So those little spots are going to turn up where you've gone over that black color.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I need to slow down
I tell everybody, you're going to hear it from me later.
several times.
Take your time. Fast or not, that looks pretty awesome. I know, most people, when they skip like that, I'm like, no, could have done that different. But yours looks really good.
I just like you.
No, I'm good.
So same thing. It's going to be purplish over here, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, that's just the nature of resin
I like it.
is whatever colors you choose, you have to make sure that they go well together, or else you're going to get that brown or green color
Mhm.
or gray
Mhm.
sometimes. And that's fine if you
It's
like
mixing
grays.
green and yellow.
Hmm. So that's why I put the red. The base is blue and then the top was red, because if I used an orange red with a teal blue, that would make a really gross color
Mhm.
if they mix together. But if you use colors that are complementary like this, then their secondary color is going to be a good color. For example, red and blue make purple, never a bad color.
Right. Well, and can I do this one up this way? But I like the little stringy that you did.
Okay, so when you were pulling this off this way, you pulled it completely off all flat, which is fine because you just wanted that design all the way. So if you wanted to do that stringy part, you would pull it and then twist it so that you're pulling on a horizontal axis rather than vertical, and then just trail it off on a point. So just pull it and twist. So whenever you're ready, yeah, and then trail it off on that point right there. So you got that fine edge. If you would have just wiggled it a little, it would have looked more taily, but that's the basic idea, and a lot of people have problems getting that.
Okay.
Almost looks fuchsia instead of purple. It really does.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Teresa.
So I feel like I need
Michelle.
to do something with this part because it's kind of globby. Maybe that too.
So you do have some blunt areas. So what you can do is you have blue right here. You can pull it through just to kind of break that area.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can just balance it by filling this part with red. That way it looks like it's coming from somewhere, like it's a choice. Because that's ultimately what it turns into is, does it look like an accident or does it look like I meant to? Which is all subjective in an abstract piece anyways. But these are looking really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give them a close-up. I love that. So the color she's using is Midnight Blue from Just Resin, Fire Engine Red from Color Obsession, and that black base tint from Stone Coat. So what are you thinking for?
I want to take some of this out of here, but maybe I do want to take the blue on top.
Mm-hmm. So you want to add some blue over here and move it through, or do you want to come through this way with this blue over here?
Maybe through this way.
Now, isn't it nice?
That's nice.
You think, or you think no?
The only thing about coming through here is this like light red that's coming through the blue is nice,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna wreck it if you come through that way. So maybe just follow the rim over here, or we can just add some blue here and bring it up this way.
Okay.
Yeah, do that. That looks nice.
And just thin, or should I pour it?
However you want to do it. We're gonna do wherever you put the blue, and then we're gonna put some of the black, and then we're gonna pull it through this way.
Okay.
That will get rid of all of the problem areas that we just talked about. What about white ribbons like you do the gold ribbons back and forth with the heat gun? We could do ribbons. Well, I already have gold mixed. Bye, JJ.
So I'm putting the black on this side.
Either way, I'm gonna put it this way because you're gonna do this.
Pull it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would just put the black right next to it because you're just gonna bring it up this way anyways.
That much.
Sure. Now since we did mix that a while back, I'm gonna hit it with just a little bit of heat so it's easier to pull. Just thin it out just slightly. You don't want to ever use too much heat because then the thinner it is, these cells aren't going to be able to hold. They're not that elastic, so they'll just melt.
Okay, so I'm putting this down and moving it this way.
That's what I would do, unless you're seeing something different. Yeah, you broke it up. That's fun. It so looks flamey because it did skip a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
so it definitely looks flamey. So what else do we want to do?
Gold somewhere.
Okay, so we're going to add the gold as soon as you're happy with how everything else looks. Which is all up to you.
I think it looks really cool. There's this blank spot up here, but I'm not sure I need anything up there.
So negative space is always valuable in resin art or fluid art in general because people get just crazy with it and they're like, pew, 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 and they get like hyper focused on an area and then you look at the whole piece and it's full.
Mm-hmm.
So there's never that calm space, especially with a whole bunch of cells. You
Mhm.
kind of need that for balance.
Okay,
So
great.
I'm always a fan of negative space. Calm.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, Diane. I thought the notifications were resolved. Looks great. Okay, so we're gonna leave this calm.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need to decide where you want to put your gold. In my pieces, I always just follow dominant ribbons and patterns. If it were my piece, I would come up through where this blue is and follow the red. Maybe follow this red and then go through the blue. It is 100% up to you. Just,
Okay, and do you just use the stick so it's a thin?
yes.
Okay.
This is the only time that I'm like, have an idea before you do it. Because if you hesitate, you're going to end up with that wiggle.
Yes.
Just like in chocolate drizzles and things.
Mm-hmm.
So know where you're going so that you can have a fluid, consistent line structure.
Oh, gosh, the pressure's on.
No, it's no pressure.
And like this much on here?
Yeah. It's a really thick consistency, so it holds its elasticity pretty well. Erica, do you add paint in your resin? I do. The paints that we use today are,
This is not enough. It's not going to go.
it's okay. Mix it, scoop some, and then Midnight Blue from Just Resin, Fire Engine from Color Obsession, this white from Stone Coat, that black from Stone Coat, and Just Resin's bright gold powder. Diane says, I love the dark and dramatic pieces. This is definitely that.
Not really a dark person, but
It's dramatic.
Hey, did you get the second set of rocks we got?
No.
It was delivered yesterday. I went there today and she said it was down there.
Did you check the mailbox?
Yeah. She looked.
Isn't Marcus down there?
When I went down there.
I just mess this up.
Absolutely not. All right. So I'm going to pull some gold through here so it's one line. And do you want to keep these? Because I can always,
I just wanted it to go along the red there.
okay. Looks great. Can't mess it up. It's moi
Thank you.
gorgeous. So once we hit it with the heat, the gold's going to start flecking up as well. All the little gold particles are going to start coming to the surface. You can really see it at an angle, how it floats. So since we overloaded it, I always overload my gold. There's going to be like a line of metallic down the middle of it.
Oh, so cool.
I don't even know if you can see it from your angle because the light's over there. So stand right here.
Oh, yes.
But once it's on a wall, you'll be able to really see it because
Mhm.
it's how the light hits.
Love that.
So, are we going to put a G up here? Are you going to pipe it? Are you comfortable with this?
I think I'm
drizzle?
gonna leave it alone.
Gonna leave it? All right. So I'm gonna tilt that little driplet off. But since the edge is so hard, it's gonna be difficult. That's fine. Just make that a choice.
Mhm.
I think it's lovely, ma'am.
Love it. It's fun.
So there you go. First time artist pour piece. Now, people are very intimidated with this medium because it's not exactly a cheap medium and they don't want to waste it. That's 100% reasonable. Are you intimidated by using this now that you have the first one out of the way? Or
No, it's just, the fear of the unknown, really.
for sure, 100%. So a lot of times when people say that to Jeff, he's like, mix your resin. Just have someone come over and mix this, the part A and part B together. You're either going to have to use it or waste it. Might as well use it. You can't fear wasting it unless you literally let it sit in the cup and set up.
It just gets hard.
That's what she said.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, that's exactly it. It's just going to turn into a rock, you know?
Mhm.
All right, we got a little bit of resin left. So I'm going to grab some coasters. We always recommend people doing coasters because, like, if you do an art show or something like that, these always sell.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
So these go by way quicker. A lot of times I recommend people just to start out using resin on coasters if they need to just feel it out, because it's really hard to make an ugly coaster. And I think it gives people confidence that they wouldn't have had otherwise.
Mhm.
And it's super quick to do them. That's not to say you can't mess up a coaster, because I have messed up my fair share.
That is awesome.
But I literally don't have any idea what I'm going to do with it until the color goes down.
Mhm.
Just let that run off so it's an even. So there you go. Just printed $5. And these cells will all grow as it relaxes, so we'll just leave it here. You ready to do a coaster?
Sure.
Boom. Let's put this one over here. Cash is being super evil today.
Sorry.
So Bowie's brother's name's Cash.
I have a grandson named Case.
Oh yeah?
Mm-hmm. I think that was enough.
find out.
We will.
You also can do this base paint thing with a solid color, but in my opinion, if you base with a solid color and then put heat on your other colors and try to manipulate it, ultimately your colors are going to interact with whatever the base is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I always go clear because it's goof proof. Maybe we'll get wild and crazy and do a flip cup. Jeff's been doing tree ring pours lately, and that's not something I know how to describe without a demo.
Gotta do the black.
I'm gonna art when I get home. The mountains inspired me. I love taking trips and getting inspired by
Mhm.
all of the things.
I'm gonna do a little gold too.
Sure. Well, that's probably a good way for me to show you. See how on this piece, like if you look at it up against the light, how it's like everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine, unless it's not fine.
Should I put black on the other side of this too, or no?
Well,
Oh, because it won't. We're going this way,
okay. Then
right?
I would just leave it like that. Now, if you pick up your gold first, it's going to be on top. Just keep that in mind. Whatever color you start in is what color your cells are going to be. So you can start in the red, have red cells, start in gold and have gold cells. The world is still your oyster.
Mm.
Everyone in the chat room is talking about their dogs eating their shoes. Luckily,
My dog does not eat shoes. Okay, so if I put it this way,
you'll
That's
have
gonna-
like a hybrid, and which will be nice.
oh, I screwed that up.
Just take your time. So maybe we should have put more black down there.
Mhm.
It goes. So when that happens, I just basically reset. I'll just put more black down and then more of the colors, just like I did the first time, because you put them in that order for a reason. And then just do it over. Free swipe. So Cujo's never been interested in shoes. Bowie doesn't really chew on shoes, but he will abduct them and take them into the ball pit. And that's where things go to die in our house.
So here,
Sure.
I can't seem to get it on there just the way I want it.
It looks like you did a good job.
It's too little. See, I can't handle. I just keep messing it up.
Softball,
I know. All of the that's what she said.
we're gonna come in.
Comes down to follows through. That's gonna look really nice. We just need to make this side make sense. So usually what I do is just torch it and tilt it to make it just do something on that side. So I have
Like,
like,
looks like a rose.
oh, it does. So I have like a design layer or a design side and then a side that's not distracting but also doing something. In fact, I don't like what I just did, so I'm gonna cover it up. Just make it a choice. Then we call that $5. I'm gonna put these two up so that they don't die in the meantime. Does look like a rose.
So cool.
All right, you got a couple coasters left. Put Tabasco on your shoes. That's not going to ruin any of my shoes at all.
Well, what about the
There's a
is that
spray, right?
orange? Yeah, that orange spray. It's called orange something. You spray it on stuff, even furniture, and then they don't. And it doesn't ruin anything. But then they're supposed that they don't like the taste of it, so they don't eat it.
I love how Jen talks. She said Erica and Amanda Bangs' mom. Also, we call Amanda Bangs because she's the only person I know that still has bangs. But they look great on her, so I would never recommend her losing them.
She cannot lose them. Tried for years. She always had no bangs, and I was like, "You really need bangs, girl. You got my high forehead."
Wear them bangs. Anyways, we call her Amanda Bangs. She said, well, now it's gone. She said, Erica and Amanda Bangs' mom. Teach me, oh great senseis, how do I keep this demon seed of Satan from destroying my foot housing? She says things like foot housing instead of shoes. Love it. Love every bit of her.
So maybe they just need to be in a closet.
It's hard to put all your shoes in timeout.
I
I don't
know,
wear
it
shoes.
really is.
I'm in the door and lose my shoes.
Mm,
Don't be scared.
okay.
So Bowie's trainer told me that if he ever has something in his mouth that's not supposed to be there, you have to find some like chewy treat or something and trade him. Because if you go for him to try to take it out of his mouth, he's just going to bite down harder or bolt. And you never want to be in that situation if he picks up like rat poison. You want him to like swallow it.
Oh, geez.
So what you do is do a trade. And that's supposed to be the science. I don't know. Billy doesn't chew on shoes, but he will take them into the pit of doom. Jen, if you put Tabasco on your shoes, Cash would probably be like, spicy. Love these chanclas. Oh, Heather has bangs. Well, I do now. LOL, cheap Botox. Girl, do you have a Botox disaster? I'm so scared of that.
Did you know that they use Botox to give children? They give children with, well, and adults too,
Headache?
with cerebral palsy. They give them Botox injections into their muscles so that they loosen up.
Oh. That's handy.
It is. So if I put this gold up here, it's gonna make everything gold, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I just have a little bit down there.
So if you're swiping this way, it'll just be an accent on the end. You could also put it right next to the white, and it'll come up a little bit through there. Cash opens my closet. He's not even a dog. He's not from this earth.
What is he?
He's Bowie's brother. His brother.
Oh, his real brother.
Like, same womb at the same time, brother. So you got to hit it with a little bit of heat. Don't be scared. You just push that back in.
That enough?
We'll see. That's funny, Jen. I love that you just said chanclas. I haven't heard that word in a while. I'm not even sure if I said that right, but I feel like it was appropriate since hot sauce on shoes. Did you hesitate right here?
You might have. And I'm like, dang it, that didn't come out the way I wanted it to.
So you can always re-pour.
Or I can just add something to it.
Hi Sharon, how have you been? Margie, I'm just glad that you got here at some point. Always miss fam. Oh, I said it right. Whoop whoop. Botox is good to help sweaty armpits and probably also wrinkly
And hands.
armpits.
Mhm.
Ooh, I can't have a shot in my hand. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you're good. It's just stuck. We'll just put this down so that it doesn't stick to anything. I tried so Jen, my cursor was on your message and I thought you said you tried the death piercing. And I was like, I don't know that that's a good trade-off for a migraine.
Yeah, I'm just gonna screw it up.
Girl, all right. I got you. It could also be that it's almost at like soft peak, so it's getting thicker, which is okay. You just have to add more heat at that point for it to do what you want it to do. Then if you want to get crazy, you can add some blue on this side and then some white. Take it the other way. I don't recommend trying to swipe in this direction because it can be awkward.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
And that's kind
Thanks
of
for saving it.
yin yangy.
Mm.
Now it's going to come up and do all the things. At least you don't get zits that have their own zip code. Every time I look up, there's something new that I'm like, what? It's going to do something. So we're going to use this white as a base because we're running out of base. Yep. Whoops. Nope. I also recommend people to just fill up like molds and things, like chocolate molds, silicone ones for it's super handy for like keychains and things like that.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Mm.
Stop. I just do this too often. Don't think that.
Oh, this is your gig, so you're gonna get it. Love that.
Fun. Super fun. So I was talking about like double colored cells.
Mm-hmm.
So dimensional.
Love it.
Okay, let's just do 2 more because I have resin left over. Let everyone get on with their day. And Jeff can turn the volume back on this recording. Oops, I have 3 coasters now. Okay. Wanted to do something, but I've forgotten what it was.
When you still have the black that's like the white too is set.
Yeah.
should try the orange. You made it
I
up.
forgot about the orange. I can't do it on the black because it is transparent and you wouldn't be able to see it. But what I can do is some blue and white. If I were to put this blue on by itself, it would blend in a little too well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually also going to do the gold. Let go.
So what kind of paper is it?
You can use wax paper.
Oh, that's neat.
You can use parchment paper.
Mm-hmm.
You can use butcher paper. Anything really that has, you can use, I've used printer paper before because I was just out of everything. The main thing is just to make sure that it's, if you're light-handed, to get a heavier piece of paper, and if you're heavy-handed, use a lighter piece of paper so
Okay,
that you're
that
not
makes
working
sense.
against yourself.
Mm-hmm.
No. Sorry, y'all. All right. Make art. It's like coffee talk. We just chat while watching. Talk amongst yourselves. I know, I feel bad when I'm,
That's fun, though.
yeah, for sure.
Was I supposed to do this with my fingers? The black?
Yeah, sure. I do.
Couldn't remember if you used the.
Nah. You can, but nah.
It doesn't look like it's all the way covered. Is that?
So it's
Normal.
slightly translucent, but I would add just a little bit more. I have it made up, and this is the surface area that we have left, so. I'm so crap at swiping, to be honest. Way too heavy-handed. Sharon, just lay it down and slowly drag it. Don't push at all. Don't add any pressure. Just let the fact that it's a dry piece of paper and the wet resin and you moving slowly keep a grasp of what you're trying to do. That would be fun, Lisa. Heather, one day I'm going to try some acrylics. I am not the best at acrylics. In fact, I would even go so far as to saying I'm the worst at acrylics. That's fun.
Now it's gonna.
It's gonna what? You gonna swipe in a circle and show me up?
Hit the kaleidoscope.
Kaleidoscopes are fun.
I think I can do it, and I don't know.
You put it
You
down
start this way.
however you want to do it, and I'll turn it for you. I don't have a lazy Susan, so we're gonna have to just use a me. That's gonna look awesome.
That's
Okay.
pretty stinking cool. But that looks like a rose too.
Even more so on camera. Look at this.
Oh yeah. Should I put gold around the middle?
Girl, I wouldn't do anything to this piece.
You wouldn't.
Mm-mm.
I love it the way it is.
When doing resin stuff, you have to like, when you have thoughts like that, just think, if this doesn't go exactly how I want it to, can I save it? will it kill it? Like, is there any way to enhance this? I don't think so.
Mhm.
So I would
It's
just
beautiful.
leave it. Look at her first timer rose, y'all. Exactly, Margie. Good haircut, lazy Susan. One day. Pete, I have to show you something. It's important.
That's important.
Jeff loves your flower.
Thank you.
Now I'm gonna have to try it. Great. Look at everyone loves your flower.
Thank you. I love that one too.
Hi, Mara.
The blue doesn't show up that well, does it?
You're just gonna have to add a little bit of white in there for it to glow against it. Any updates on coming to the UK yet? I am still working with Petra and Saskia on being able to do that. And as soon as I know something, I will let y'all know something.
So I go by the gold and the blue. I don't go over the top.
Well, it's got to be on the top. I would just kind of follow a little bit of where you have the blue, like right up next to the blue, so that the blue shows up once you start manipulating it. Yeah, just like that. I wish I had E as my teacher first time doing resin. Oh,
It's
that's so sweet of
amazing, I'll tell you.
I'm still here to help. So if you guys ever have any issues and need help or direction or whatever, hit me up. You can really see those bubbles popping now. What are
I
we
think I'm
gonna
going to do the same effect.
do? The same?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me know when you're ready. Just start like middle and out. You know what I mean?
So just half.
Yeah, just do the half because you don't want it to really overlap. Is it okay? So since it broke, we're gonna just start it right here. Awesome.
Mm.
Give it a minute. Let it live for a second, and if you don't like it, then we'll rework it. But I think it'll end up looking carnation-y.
I love it. I thought you were going to do the rose thing
Oh
with
yeah.
this one.
I'm scared.
You're not.
Ah, I feel like the pressure's on. It's okay. We got this.
You can do it.
This is my first time doing a Lazy Susan resin rose. Hashtag coaster rose.
Octagon coaster rose.
Octo coaster rose. Okay. You can do this. It's not going to be scary. It's going to bite.
If I can do it, you can do it. And mine was total accident.
Girl. I don't know. There's plenty of times where I'm like, yes, I can do that. And turns out, no, I cannot do that. Okay. So I'm gonna do, that is odd. So I'm gonna put some white on because I want the color to come up a little bit. I'm gonna try just exactly your technique. I was paying attention.
Good girl.
And then I'm going to put some of this just because we haven't used it yet. And I'm adding my color all on the same side for me to spin it this way. Because it needs to be on one side of the white for it to do its thing. And I'm going to add some real red in there as well. Okay. Okay. It's going to be fine. It's not going to be as awesome. Maybe it'll be half awesome. Half awesome, I'll be fine with.
And we're going clockwise.
Amanda's mom has the touch.
I'll pay you later.
Okay, so I'm going to do this way, so it needs to spin that
Okay.
way. I'm scared. Okay, go. Okay, wait. It picked up. I just need to make sure. Okay. I think I added way too much red. Okay. So what
More
I'm,
like it's like gray in there.
yeah. So what I'm gonna do is try to fix it. Let me think. Don't know if it's gonna work. I'm just gonna,
Just gonna move it.
yeah. I think if I try to do it big ways, like the full Susan, it would laugh at me. It's eating the black away. It's all right. Just gonna have to tilt this guy. I'm running out of paper. Okay. Not exactly a rose.
Looks really neat though. I really like it.
I'm not gonna give up. So we put a lot of resin on here, so I can always just torch and tilt it a little bit just to give it some other movement.
That's cool.
I'm gonna let it set and put a gold swirl on it and say it is not a flower, but kind of, but not. Goodness.
So fun.
Fun is all I aim to do with resin. I really never do this thinking I'm going to create like the next big thing or a new technique. Sometimes it works out that way. Most times not. I'm calling this one Dexter. All right, you've got this one.
Oh jeez.
Hey, boys.
I don't know what can we put on the bottom. There's nothing. Black
Just
silk
use
on.
tint, that transparent one.
This one?
Yeah, because it'll get covered up anyways.
Got it.
I have a big torch out. I'm afraid I'll burn down my house. Just have a fire extinguisher handy and don't torch around any alcohol wipes or anything like that. You should be good. Oh, thanks, baby cakes. That's so sweet. I'm gonna move these guys so we don't drip on them.
Good idea. Oh, I have some.
What's next?
Right?
Sure.
Got some white in there.
Oh, it's fine.
It's too much fun. Is it worth an 8-hour drive every weekend? And a lot of money.
To me, yes. You know, Mom,
Mhm.
it's only an hour and a half flight.
I don't fly.
I know.
I liked what you did with the.
Which one?
Which one did you do? Top or bottom?
She did the red and black and blue one that's on the top. You may need a light to see it. I think it's the one on top, yeah.
Ooh. Oh, and so?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. You're natural, Mom.
Not.
I know.
I'm screwing this one up.
Nah.
He like bowed down in front of me.
Oh, Cujo?
No.
Oh, Bowie did?
Stretching.
What are we gonna do with this one?
I don't know. You just pull it into, can I just pull it into the center? But I want to do that little, I mean, I did the squiggly kind of with that, but I just can't seem to get that part. Where one edge goes off, but in just a single line.
Oh, yeah. We can make that happen. I would put a little bit of white down so you can get some effects. Give up. Great suggestion, torch and tilt. I'm always a fan of torch and tilt.
Well, Mom, you know how scared I am of fire, and I actually will use it on this.
It's true.
Yep.
Thank you for those kisses on my leg.
Oh, I was like, you're welcome.
Whatever you're talking about.
Moral support, right? Yes. Hi. The couch is gone.
Oh, hallelujah, babe.
Gone. Very
Sharon,
nice.
if you can hear me, that was a slip of the mod. You're not in trouble. She just hit something. So you'll be able to type in 300 seconds. Hey, Carrie. All right. So we're going to try the trail. I would start on this side and pull it this way.
It has to be the gold going through the white, right?
Sure, or you can start in the red. It just can't be the white on top. I guess for purposes of just training yourself to do that trail, it doesn't really matter.
But that red is just the base.
Yeah, but it's okay. You can pull it from right over here, over the top of the gold. Just take your time because it has been setting up for a little while, so it's thicker, so it's easier to skip over the top of it. There you go. Just on that edge, just So you were adding a little bit of pressure. You can tell because there's like a divot.
Mm-hmm.
So let's put a little heat on because it's probably a little thick. So we're gonna try it with this little teeny tiny piece. So we're gonna start in the red, let it pick up. Take your time moving it, do whatever. And then whenever you're about where you want it to be, just start turning it to one edge. And just, you don't have to add pressure on that angle, just let that be the last thing to come up.
Mm-hmm.
So same amount of pressure until you let up.
Mm-hmm.
Had you seen this pickup one yet?
Had I seen it?
Yeah, like I don't want to fill it if you like already started packaging it. I mean, it's from today, so I just didn't know.
Oh no.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be pulling this towards me.
I mean, to the side's not bad either. Everyone said hi, Amanda Bangs.
Yeah, I dug it in. I screwed that up.
There is no screwing it up. What do we got left? Need a glove. Not much.
There's some red.
Just add a little bit more red. Make it a big gold and red one. We'll almost use all of this one. I actually like what color this is.
It is a
like
really
next
neat
to
color.
this.
It looks red next to the gold.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a orangey red.
It's like a melted red Jolly Rancher.
Mm. Good analogy.
Sometimes the colors don't show true on this camera, so I always have to like come up with something similar so that they know
Mm-hmm.
what it is I'm looking at, because otherwise it's like, that's a pretty purple, and I'm like, well, it's actually dark blue. So this is one of the awesome things about the transparency, is because it's tinted and because you can see through it, it creates this depth
Mm-hmm.
where it looks inset. But if you look at it next to a light or like this, there's no dip in, but it
Mhm.
looks like it just up in there. All right. So I don't remember if I heated it enough or not, so we'll just do that one more time. Sometimes these papers just don't want to rip. Let's see. So next time you come down, we'll do a study on swiping so you can feel more comfortable with it.
Mm. That looks really cool.
Give up.
We're sticking everything.
I know, it's the struggle. It's real. This is why swiping away from you is not the best idea, because then you get caught in this
Mhm.
weird angle. It's gonna look beautiful in just a minute when it's done relaxing. Ugh. Looks kind of blown out in the camera, but up close, it's fine. Very oriental.
Mhm.
So you guys, this is the time in our feed that we have to say goodbye. Where's my, I'm gonna put this up. Ew, it's getting prettier. You can't even see it in that camera. Where are you? There you are. It's gonna drip everywhere if I keep doing that. So,
So you keep your plastic sticks, but you throw the cups away?
you can wipe out this big cup, but for the sticks that have like the logo and everything on it, I just wipe them off with an alcohol rag and they're ready to reuse the next day. Available on our website, artiststill.com. Bam, you know you have a lot of commission pieces coming up. Calm down with the soldering iron. Oh, Jen said the same thing. So you guys, if you have any questions on anything at all, leave a comment down below or send me an email, thorn@artistillove.com. All of that is listed over on the right though. And what else? I'm sure there's other things I need to say to you guys. Oh yeah, we're on Yelp now, so if you have a free second, good or bad, leave a review. It'd be awesome. And what's today? Sunday? Tomorrow we'll be live at our regularly scheduled time, 8 p.m. Central Standard, Dallas, Texas, United States of America, Milky Way universe time. And thanks for joining me today. I know this is not baking, but next time you come down, maybe you can teach me how to make something.
Okay. Thanks for having me. It was so much fun.
Brownies that aren't actually,
Made with cornmeal.
yeah, because that happens. Whole nother story. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, you guys. We love you guys so, so much. Be kind to one another. You never know what someone's going through. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Nailed it. Beans. Stop.
I can't silver lilac.